Okay guys, I guess we're gonna have to do this in two parts. My phone got overheated and camera shut off. Like I was saying, I get these Home Depot buckets and fill them up with rainwater, and I had the dandelions in here. But there's something else I had. I had it in my fire pit. When I have a fire, I put the fire out, and so I have a lot of charcoal left. And so this is basically my version of the biochar, because it's very light, and it's the before it goes to ash you get the charcoal. And I'll add it, and then you see all the dandelions in here, and this is all the rainwater and dandelions. This is done yesterday, so it doesn't smell yet, but I also added Epsom salt, which is just sulfur and magnesium, which is beneficial for your plants. It doesn't add salt to the soil. It's not that type of salt. But this will start breaking down. I'm going to put this over in the sun for about 2 weeks at least, minimum. And all this will start smelling really bad. I call this MAPH, MAPH. And what does that stand for? Well, this is my version of my swamp water. Basically, it's called Mark's Anaerobic Putrefied Helper, MAPH. There's also some urine in there. Yes, I said urine. Why urine? Well, they've done studies, and even a study on Miracle Grow versus urine. Because in your urine, your body expels all those minerals that your body doesn't absorb, and so you urinate them out. So if you have a healthy diet and you have a lot of nutrients that you're eating, you're going to have a lot of nutrients and minerals that you're going to be urinating out. But you can use that, and this actually acts as an activator to get the putrefaction started, or the fermentation started. And when this starts smelling really bad, like putrefied swamp water, then I know that the plants are gonna love it. And I'll even throw some kitchen scraps in here. I had a bunch of stuff from our friends of ours that always give us all their food scraps, and there's always all kinds of stuff in there. So I had a bottle of dressing. It was like a French dressing. Well, there's lots of sugars in there, so those are going to be eaten up by the bacteria. So that'll help the process. But what I'll do is I'll just filter all this out in a few weeks, all the water, and then add it to buckets and fill them up with water, and they will water my plants with all those minerals and nutrients from this anaerobic swamp water. And then all the biochar that's in there and all the leftover stuff will just be stuff I can put underneath my mulch, and these act as little houses, the biochar, for all your bacteria and all the nutrients, and so it'll create a long-term nutrient house for your soil. Now this one's about ready to use. You got some clear liquid right there, but this is starting to stink. You can see all the, I think this is a lot of neem and dandelion in here. It's starting to settle. I think I'll let this go another week. And it'll probably be ready then. Yeah. When the plant life starts to get gelatinous and start breaking down, then you know it's ready. So that's one thing, and it didn't cost me hardly anything to make that. So that's one thing right there I use. Now tonight, just before sunset, I'm going to get my 2-gallon sprayer. And this is all I have right now. I just have the Epsom salt, chelated liquid iron with micronutrients, and the organic liquid kelp. And if I had some fish emulsion, I would also add that. And I just add, just with that 2 gallons, it just takes a few ounces of each. The Epsom salt, I just put a little bit in there, just for adding the magnesium, and it helps in the garden, especially for deficiency with magnesium and sulfur deficiencies, so it corrects yellowing leaves. And there's some things I have that, like my apple trees, are still got yellow leaves, and I've been starting to add a lot of stuff to that. But I'm going to do a foliar feed at sunset though, because that's the best time to do your foliar feed, and that's when all the underneath all the leaves, they start opening up to absorb all the nutrients from the foliar feed. And it's a fast acting way of getting the nutrients into the plant rather than through the roots, especially if your soil is not completely neutral yet, and sometimes your roots get locked up from absorbing a lot of your nutrients. So this is a quick way of fixing that problem, is by foliar feed. And another thing I use a lot of, because I'm a coffee roaster, is this is a couple days worth of coffee grounds, and I'll use that and I'll start sprinkling it all over the soil, because spent coffee grounds will add some nitrogen to my soil. Or you can actually, I add a lot of it to my compost too. It's helps kickstart that breaking down of that with the nitrogen. It's actually your green layer of your compost. But I'll just sprinkle that around a lot of my plants all the time, and that helps build the soil. And I also put these with my worms, which is something I'm going to be harvesting today. So this is my worm bucket. You see all that right there, that black gold? I keep this in my garage, and I wait till everything that I put in there is already broken down. But this is all worm castings. This stuff goes for $1 a pound. These are my red wigglers in here. So I have it out in the sun, so they'll start going down to the bottom, and then I just start harvest this black soil. This is gold, black gold. Take all the worms out, and this is my fertilizer right here. Isn't that beautiful? All I started was cardboard and newspaper and coffee grounds, and then I started adding food scraps, a little bit of water to keep it moist. And then I have some holes drilled in the bottom there, so it sits in this other bucket. So all this is worm casting juice. That's liquid fertilizer. I could actually put that in my sprayer too for the foliar feed. But that's another thing I have for fertilizing all this stuff, and everything's organic, so it's all, it doesn't do anything detrimental like chemical fertilizers will, which is destroy your soil over time. All it does is it's just a quick fix, but it's detrimental to the building of your soil life. And so I believe in building up a living soil with all the organisms, like the worms and the bugs and the bacteria and the fungus. And somebody asked me recently, I got all these mushrooms showing up in my wood chips, is that bad? I go, no, that's your friend. You need the bacteria and fungus to create a living soil, because the fungus, those mushrooms, they're a part of a wood wide web. They'll link together with the roots of your plants, and they have a symbiotic relationship with your plants. This is my neem tree, getting all this new growth. This thing is going to be probably 15 feet tall this summer. So in the morning it'll shade our shed. This is a very beneficial medicinal tree, highly prized in India for its medicinal properties. And I actually use a lot of the leaves as mulch and in my swamp water, because it's also, like neem oil they sell, is a good bug repellent. Well, those are all the things I wanted to share with you today, so hope you learned something, because I've learned a lot doing all this, and I've had great results. Remember, this is just rock 2 years ago. Everything's growing up. After everything gets planted and tore out, I can start working on the aesthetics and make it more beautiful. Doing lots of planting. So future updates are coming. You can see what the progress is. Have a good day, guys.